Here we go. Welcome, Average Joe Nation from around the globe. Props to you for staying up to date and keeping in the know. With fantasy football, man, very soon you'll reign. The knowledge that these three guys have, man, it is insane. Yeah, fantasy football talk hateful eight, they wear the crown. Hold it down. Pickle, Blackburn, and Trimboli, hold it down. Pulling up to the recording studio, we're getting loud. Getting ready, headphones on, red light go, break it down.
Welcome back to the Hateful Eight Fantasy Football Podcast with your host. I'm Pickle, and with me as always, Blackburn.
What's up?
And to my right, Trimboli.
What's going on?
Brought you back for the running back show.
Hey, you got to be here for this.
Right? Took a vacation for the wide receiver show, came back for the running back show, which we all know is more important to you anyways.
Yep. Don't worry about those divas.
So, you can, wow, already starting off.
Well, yeah, we're starting off. The show just started.
Anyways.
You know, it starts at the beginning.
It does usually. Anyways, we want to give a huge shout out for today's show. Gerard Austin stepping in to produce the show. Normally we have Steve is the guy behind the scenes, but we want to give Gerard a shout out today. We appreciate him stepping in last minute to fill in. So today's main segment is the Fantasy Stock Watch Running Back Edition. Now, that's the final group of the Stock Watch. I mean, tight ends, I don't feel like the stocks really drop. It's you know who are the guys that everybody's going to be going for early, and then it's kind of like a roll of the dice of the guys that are going to kind of go in the middle to last.
Right.
So
you got three top ones, and everybody else is missing.
Yep. Right. So I don't really feel like so next week don't be looking for a Fantasy Stock Watch tight end because that's not coming. So
listen, I put a lot of work in those tight ends.
I appreciate that. Anyways, so you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find us on YouTube, anywhere the podcast you may listen, as well as on DATVs on Fridays, 10:30 p.m., and then Sundays at 4 p.m. So that's all we got. Let's jump into the first segment today, Fantasy News and Notes.
Fantasy News and Notes.
All right, Fantasy News and Notes presented by Sleeper. If you're wanting to stay up on anything and everything fantasy football related, this is the app download. Make sure you could download it from iOS or Android, or they have a website if you're more traditional, like your laptop, your PCs. They still have a regular website as well. So, but for us who are on the go, I have to specify because I've had people say, do they have just a website? So just to specify, they do. But if you're wanting to stay up on anything fantasy football related, this is the app to have. You can also do random mock drafts. You can start up your fantasy leagues, whether that's dynasty, keepers, whatever, they have it. And then the big thing is obviously you can continue to like communicate and talk with other people within the forums. People are always posting questions and asking, hey, what would you do in this situation? And usually within like 5 minutes, there's like 100 replies. So
right.
You got to weed through some that don't make any sense.
Right. When you're talking about a running back and someone says, yeah, I would take that quarterback, you kind of have to weed that out, obviously. But, you know.
You can still get the feel for the community, though.
Right. So, but the news for today, Damien Williams has officially been named the starter by Andy Reid, which is always a good thing when the head coach names you the starter. In weeks past, we've heard it's been the offensive coordinator, and just in general, the team really feels that he's the guy. But in a recent statement, Reid gave the vote of confidence to Damien Williams as the Chiefs starting running back, said that, in quote, we're asking him to be the full-time starter for the year. So
my response is like, duh.
And I think the follow-up was, he's earned it. So
again, duh.
Right.
I knew this was coming.
Yeah, he could do both. He can run, catch, and I feel bad for Hyde because no matter where he goes, he's just there.
He is. I feel like he's kind of second fiddle, if you want to call it
he's
that.
He's a one-trick pony. He's good at what he does, but
right. He can catch the ball, but that's not his game. And Damien Williams has proven that he can catch the ball out of the backfield, but he can also be a bruiser between the tackles kind of guy. So, and he was on a stretch from when he took over through the fantasy playoffs and everything. I mean, he was one of the top running backs to have. So I just think this is a good thing for him, and his ADP has steadily climbed. He is right in that second round of running backs. He's in that top 12 running back talk.
Do you think it's rising because of Hill's situation right now? Because if Hill plays, I think Damien Williams is a much better play.
When the news broke, his ADP actually went up higher. I think the initial knee-jerk reaction for the fantasy community was, well, Hill's out, so it's going to be Kelsey and Damien Williams,
right.
Which in reality, I agree with you. I think Damien Williams will serve a better purpose fantasy-wise if Tyreek Hill's in there, because I think Tyreek Hill dictates a certain kind of coverage on the field that opens up lanes for Travis Kelsey, for Damien Williams, or Lame Cheetah, Sammy Watkins, or McCole Hardman. So
I just don't think you're going to see a bunch of Hill's targets going strictly to those other 2 wide receivers.
No.
Right.
So Damien Williams will get an uptick in especially passing targets.
I would say receptions is where I think Damien Williams will be successful when Tyreek Hill is off the field for if he is officially suspended. But I agree, once Hill comes back from a suspension, if that does happen, I think Damien Williams will then increase his overall rushes.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I think it's going to be the Kamara situation where it's a different position guy, like with Ingram being gone. Kamara flourished in the passing game and was pretty much the one-trick guy, where once Ingram came back, then Kamara kind of sat in his own a certain way. He was more the receiving guy than so much the rushing guy, if that makes sense. So
it could go either way. We'll just have to see how the offense goes.
Right.
Right. Now, Cam Newton's shoulder said he's a full go for training camp. He was out throwing in some of the, like, voluntary, involuntary camps and mini camps, things like that. So I think it's a good thing that he's going to be ready to go for training camp. I'm just hoping that he doesn't re-aggravate or anything, because then you can go ahead and kiss every one of those Panthers players not named Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Right.
well, CMC is the only sure thing that I would be comfortable with anyway.
Well, I was gonna say, now you can pretty much take any of the receivers. DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel's upside potential is out the window. It's done. It's Christian McCaffrey or nobody. So
We need Newton. I want some Samuel. I want some DJ Moore this year.
I mean, even Ian Thomas with Greg Olson's up and down potential. I mean, I think Ian Thomas, the backup, could be somebody of worth.
He had a couple good games last year.
Right. It just hinges on the shoulder of Cam Newton. That whole offense.
I'll tell you what, if Cam Newton's offseason progresses a little better, you're getting him way late in drafts right now.
Oh yeah,
he could be a steal.
Yeah, I mean he's going way back in even past I think he's going right around Dak Prescott and Phillip Rivers and all those guys, Kirk Cousins, all those in that same group tier wise.
Basically getting him like a quarterback 2,
9 to 11.
but you can get for a quarterback. He's really a quarterback 1 value.
Right. So. And then this one's Jack Doyle regarding his weight. He's slowly getting his weight back. Apparently, he lost 25 pounds when he had this kidney surgery in the off season. Now we all know that he was dealing with a hip injury. Then he also had this surgery for kidney wise. So apparently he lost a lot of weight. Now he's gaining it back steadily. But I will tell you, this to me just tells me Ebron is a better option at this point, because I just don't. I mean, that was the big thing. Doyle was a bigger tight end. He was a more physical tight end. I just think that he's lost the weight. Now he's getting it back. Is he going to be ready to go for the season start? I mean,
well, he's not more athletic than Ebron.
No.
Right.
So
and didn't Ebron? Isn't he recovering some kind of random surgery he had, like a groin or something?
He had a hernia surgery or something like that, like a sports hernia surgery or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but he's been fine. There's no reports of any issues of setbacks for him, but. The fact that Jack Doyle is, that's a headline. I mean, when you're a headline for regaining your weight and lost 25 pounds, 25 pounds is not easy to lose or gain in any shape or form.
Especially, you don't want that at your tight end.
No. I mean, that now puts him closer to just a big physical wide receiver weight range. So
and they already brought one of those in with Funches.
Right. So, now, Miles Sanders, this one's the one that's kind of sticks out in my mind when I was looking over this. Miles Sanders reportedly needs to work on his pass blocking. And we talked about just before the show started that that's a concern for me. And that's always a big thing for rookie running backs is the pass protection. That's what usually keeps them off the field. It's not so much their ball carrying skills or their vision. It is pass protection, pass blocking. And
they got to know who's the most highly paid person, that quarterback.
Right.
You got to keep him up.
And they pass a lot.
Especially Carson Wentz.
I would say, and Glass House, soon to be taking over Sam Bradford's previously owned Glass House title. You don't want a quarterback like him getting blasted because Miles Sanders missed a block.
Yep.
I'm just saying that could end a season when we've seen that.
Jordan Howard will get full reps.
I'm just saying Carson Wentz is your season right now.
Yeah.
You do not have Nick Foles in your back pocket, so I guarantee that they are very aware and making it. I mean, yes, normally it would kind of be no big deal. It's a running back. We understand the pass blocking rookie. It is what it is. But the fact that they have the quarterback that they have, and they've just invested a lot of money, they do not have Nick Foles as their backup now.
Right.
So you are putting a lot into the running back and the pass blockers up front anyways. So if he's struggling, this could be what keeps him off the field. And that's the only thing that I think we talked about beforehand, that it could be a problem for him getting on the field. His potential, he is better, I think, athletically overall than Jordan Howard.
Absolutely.
However, Jordan Howard is a solid pass blocker. So if he's blocking and he's able to do what he's supposed to, that's like you said, that's just going to keep Jordan Howard on the field longer, in my opinion.
This team's contending now, so
Yeah.
the development for Sanders is going to be on the fly.
So I agree with you. I think this is a better situation overall for Miles Sanders if he can learn how to pass block. If not, Jordan Howard immediately takes that step in, and he's got the clear-cut 1A, like 1, and then it becomes Miles Sanders as the 2, not 1A, 1B. So.
Right.
And then the final one for just general news, Ezekiel Elliott will not be suspended, apparently post his Roger Goodell meeting. He put out some sort of post on social media, typed up some sort of apology, I should have been better, so on and so forth.
That was it.
And that was it. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, Goodell's still going to hammer him. No. Roger Goodell apparently reviewed all the film, reviewed all the tapes, the audio, the people apparently witness-wise, and said that Ezekiel Elliott was pretty much provoked. And the officer who detained him essentially said, I did it for his well-being, like we said last week, that we did it just so he could kind of regroup, and then move on and calm himself down. So
your number 2 pick will be safe.
yeah, right. You're number 1, and I've seen him go in a lot of drafts now as the 101, surprisingly enough.
Listen, I'm tempted.
It's preference, but I'd rather have Barkley.
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
I want the guy who's going to lead the league in yards rushing and who's increased his passing.
I want the guy who's going to catch a bunch of passes from Eli Manning.
Well, I get that, but what if Jones comes in? Do we think he's going to get the same workload?
The offensive line is the same.
Well,
time is time.
I know, but is Damien just going to immediately check down like Eli does? I mean, Eli, he's a rookie. You blow wind in his face, and he's throwing it to Barkley.
Right. He's like, no.
I think Barkley's good no matter who's the quarterback.
I agree. I think
you can
Barkley,
make an argument either way. I think
Barkley
with those guys
pretty much proved it last year that he is quarterback proof because he has Eli Manning and a horrible, horrible offensive line, and he's getting. I mean, I forget what the stat was. I'd have to look it up, but he got hit. I forget how many percentage of the time before he even got to the line of scrimmage. He had to make like 2 or 3 moves before he even got across the line of scrimmage. So I just think that's a good thing for him. But I will say that the offense as a whole is better in Dallas, which could potentially put more points on the board. But I agree. I think Saquon's going to have a crazy amount of receptions compared to what Zeke's numbers are. But if Zeke can even remotely increase what he did just last year, I do think the gap is a lot closer. But I agree with you. I think it's preference.
It's 1A, 1B, and you could even throw a CMC into that mix a little bit.
Yeah. I have actually seen CMC going 101. Kamara is pretty much the only one that I've seen go around 1-2, 103.
He's where he needs to be because that Latavius, I mean, I think he's going to fill the same role that Mark Ingram did.
Right.
I agree.
So, and then the final news of the day, Josh Jacobs signs his rookie contract deal, 4 years, fully guaranteed, worth $11 million. I just think that
I think he's going to be the 3-down back there.
He's the guy. He is Gruden's Cadillac Williams.
Well, I'm just glad he's signed and he's ready to go.
Right before Hard Knocks.
Yes.
Just in time.
But I will FaceTime.
Right. I agree, though. I think this is a good thing that they got him in before training camp so it's not lingering. There's not a question mark. But I will tell you, all signs point to him being the main ball carrier, which is what Gruden has always wanted. He wanted that with Marshawn. It just didn't pan out. Marshawn, unfortunately, I think was past his prime. And he wanted Chris Warren III last year to kind of step in, but he ended up with an undisclosed injury, finishing out not being able to play this last year. So I just think that this is why they took Josh Jacobs where they did.
First round. Mike Mayock even said, he's the GM now,
right,
that we want him to be the third every down back.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what you got, and I think it helps Derek Carr if you have that stability of handing the ball off, and I think that overall – I think that Josh Jacobs makes this offense better.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It takes pressure off of Derek Carr, if anything else. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into the final segment. Segue.
I am group.
I am group. Fantasy Stock Watch running backs.
This is Fantasy Stock Watch.
All right, Fantasy Stock Watch.
I should be getting paid at like a slot machine right there. Ding,
Right.
ding, ding.
Every time
Did
I hear
you say that last time?
No, I think of JBL from WWE because that was his entrance music. It started off with that.
Yep. I like it. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was wondering which one where you were going. I knew you were going to probably go with the Vegas theme. I did not expect the WWE.
Well, that's JBL's. When you heard that ding, 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 he would come out.
Well, I'm a degenerate, so I like to gamble.
There you go.
Degeneration X.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go. Throw
Look
it
at
back
that.
at you.
What you got?
Nothing.
The ad read?
I got
Let's let him read.
Let me read. Trophy Smack has over 1,000 unique fantasy trophy combinations. They also have fantasy rings, fantasy championship belts, and just in time for your live drafts, the draft board that they sell now for $39, free shipping. Head over to trophysmack.com, or you can go to our website, thehateful8ff.com, and click on the tab Belts, Trophies, Rings,
Yes.
and go there as well. So, all right. So you know what? It just seems better to start to my left. So, Blackbird, you kick us off with your too low.
I always start off. Anywho, my too low is running back James White for the Patriots.
Yep.
Right now, he is being drafted as the RB29, 7'4".
Yeah, I think that's a little disrespectful for a guy
That's
who's finished
ridiculous.
at the lowest in RB2 the last
Especially
couple
in
years.
half-point PPR.
Right. No Gronk, no Hogan. They added N'Keal Harry, but we don't know how he's doing yet. So I think the volume's still going to be there. Sonny Michel's was injury prone, I think, or is coming off an injury. So, but White has a role here.
Yeah.
He's comfortable with Tom Brady. I think that he's going to continue to catch all the passes there. He had 233 points last year, making him RB8. That's where he finished.
Yeah.
Let me give you some numbers here.
And the offense isn't getting any better.
No, it's not. Brady got hit a lot last year, too, so he's going to be doing some checkdowns, too.
And that's what's crazy. Even if he regresses, I mean, obviously, I think RB8, we can't expect that this year.
No.
But even his regression is still better than where he's being drafted right now.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. It's a slap in the face.
Well, last year he was number 3 running back in receptions with 87. He was number 2 overall in targets with 123.
That's a ridiculous number.
Yeah, 751 yards receiving. He was the number 2 running back there, and he was tied with number one with Kareem Hunt for 7 touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah.
To me, the biggest thing, I just feel like the fantasy community is, once Gronk left, I feel like they have thrown nothing but disrespect and shade to the Patriots offense. I'm not saying that you have
Aside from Edelman.
Edelman's actually still gotten some shade, but not as much as these other guys. Like Sonny Michel's kind of faded. James White is getting pushed to the back where the running back 3s are being drafted. And, I mean, Edelman, they're saying, oh, he's not a top 20 wide receiver. He's maybe a top 25. I mean, I've heard that. And apparently Gronk was the be-all, have-all for this whole offense, that once Gronk is gone, everybody's sucks now, apparently, in this Patriots offense, which I don't believe is true.
I just think it's the big number every week you're used to seeing out of the Patriots. You're just not seeing that as much. But listen, they got a balanced defense, and their offense is good enough. And with the GOAT still there, I mean,
Right.
you're going to score
I
enough
drafted
points.
Gronk last year in the 4th round,
Yeah.
and it cost me. Just
did.
saying.
So
We got breaking news.
Oh, we do have a breaking news. You know what? Here, where's our breaking news?
Yes.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Breaking news.
Long drop.
Yeah. This is from Adam Schefter.
Yeah.
Los Angeles running back Melvin Gordon has informed the Chargers that unless he receives a new contract, he will not report to training camp and will demand a trade.
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah, that is a hold on to your butt.
Oh, my goodness.
That's first round fantasy
Oof.
guy.
Ooh, that's not good.
No.
Well, you knew it was coming, though. You knew it was coming. Eventually, Melvin Gordon's going to want to get paid.
I mean, yeah.
That
but-
position's got to get paid sometimes.
Well, and their next best guy is Austin Eckler, who showed that he can't be the main ball carrier. And the guy behind him, Justin Jackson, showed that he couldn't be the main ball carrier.
I got it. Trade him and sign Carlos Hyde.
There you go.
Give
He
this man a starting role.
Right.
Well, Hyde will be like par for the course for the age on that team.
Right.
Right.
Or what you do is you now just say, okay, Melvin, we're going to go ahead and ship you somewhere else. Then we pick up Kareem Hunt when he gets kicked to the curb by Cleveland once this whole 10 to 12 games comes out. And then you just ride Eckler and Justin Jackson out for majority of the season, and then Kareem Hunt comes back at the end of the year. You sign him for cheap. I'm just saying.
Hunt's got some other issues going on here that
He does.
might prevent him all year. So
Right.
I don't know if I'd be going that route.
That's
right
crazy,
now.
though. I mean, he's projected like a 6th or 7th overall pick.
Yeah, he's in that top 5 or 6 running back talk, and he's in that first round draft pick. I mean, it's like
All right.
back end of the draft. I mean, like round
Here we
8
go.
to 12.
Hypotheticals.
I
There
got
it
it
is.
right here.
Oh yeah, here's your
Okay.
hypothetical. What do you got?
Gurley for Gordon. Trade.
Trade like straight up.
Yep.
If I'm the Rams, I do it.
Oh, no, I think so too.
Yeah. Well,
Then you don't have to, then it's off your plate and you don't have to worry about it.
Yep. And if Gurley is hurt the way they think he is,
And the thing is, you technically do have Darrell Henderson as your immediate if Gordon does go down with an injury.
Well, and he could go with the trade even
Yeah.
if they needed compensation like that. I mean, that's a lot for
That's a
LA
lot
to
of-
give up. I mean, it's crazy to even think that in Gurley.
LA
in
to
general.
LA swap.
Listen, I think Gordon's going to get signed there. He's
He's going to get paid. It's
too
just
much of a staple in that offense.
And you've got Phillip Rivers is only going to be there for a couple more years.
Again, just like we said in Philadelphia, this is a win now team.
Right.
He's been in the offense long enough. He knows it. He's comfortable. He flourishes in it. They'd be almost stupid not to sign him. But I don't
Right.
blame him for getting his money. He gets hurt, and he's got to get paid while he can.
Well, he's got to get a guaranteed certain amount of dollars because
Yeah.
he does have an injury tag attached to him. But I just think that he's doing it at a good time now because the Chargers are past the draft. There's no big name guys out there that's a free agent that they could go sign and say, well, we've got this guy, sorry. But on the flip side, it does put the Chargers in a box that they're going to have to do. Essentially, they're going to have to sign him because they're going to have to wait till next year before they can draft a running back to replace Gordon in theory. So I'm not saying that he needs like a 4 or 5 year deal, but I'd sign him for a 2-year deal and pay him what he's wanting, but in this perspective of a 2 years, give him so much guaranteed, and then next year you draft a running back high, and then you just ride it out, and if he gets hurt, I'd put in an injury clause, though.
Well,
that
how
he-
many years
this-
has Rivers got left?
I don't know, but
Rivers says he's playing until he's 50, so that's like
Well,
another 10 years.
I mean, I guess if Tom Brady's still playing.
Right.
well, Tom Brady's actually winning Super Bowls.
This is true. So, anyways.
But yeah, Gordon's got good trade value right now too, so that'd
Yeah.
be enticing for the Chargers to look at.
It's just hard for the NFL to make trades like that.
True.
I mean,
But
We'll see.
anyway, back to James White.
baller.
Yeah, I mean, he finished. I agree with you. He's not going to finish RB8, but to have him in that, what I say is
30-ish?
Yeah, RB29. That's
His
disrespectful.
floor is top 20.
Yeah.
His ceiling is top 7.
12.
I would say top 7 because he's finished in that 7 to 10 range a lot. So I'm just saying I think his ceiling is 7. I think his floor is 20. And if you're getting a guy, I would take him at that ADP.
What I think,
in a heart rate.
I would
Yeah,
love
I
to
would- I
have
would
him
too.
at 7th round.
I think you were harping on it earlier. I think if Sony Michel doesn't come out of the gate strong or gets hurt in any way, I think Damian Harris takes his role, and White kind of maintains the
that's why-
role he's had all year.
Yeah, White's got his
say,
role set.
White has gone through the gauntlet of the running backs through New England. He is the one that's stayed. Deion Lewis, left. LeGarrette Blount, left. I'm just saying he's had guys come through, and he has stayed, and they signed him to a deal. So they like him, and they like his potential, and he is well-liked by Tom Brady, which,
That
just
means
so
a
we're all
lot.
aware,
That-
is the good thing.
We need that state.
It's like
that
Aaron
stamp.
Rodgers.
We said
Aaron
that off
Jones and
air.
Aaron Rodgers.
Their relationship is good.
So, anyways.
So yeah, that was my too low. My too high is Green Bay running back Aaron Jones. Right
Yeah.
now they got him going RB15, round 3, pick 6. That's a little rich for me,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you why. Last year he finished RB23. Now he did only play 12 games, but he's missed 8 games in 2 seasons. He was suspended for 2, and 6 of them were injury. And their coach came out and said, the running back by committee approach is the most effective, and that's what we want to do.
LeFleur.
That LeFleur.
So we all seen how his run game went in Tennessee.
Yeah. Took him almost 3/4 of the season to realize that
Yeah.
Derrick Henry was actually decent.
Right. Now, these are the running backs that are being drafted or that are ranked after
Okay.
Jones. You ready?
Yeah.
Marlon Mack,
Okay.
Leonard Fournette,
Okay.
Devonta Freeman, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, and Mark Ingram.
I would say Devonta Freeman is bumped up higher than him for sure. I think
Definitely.
Marlon Mack is above him, but I don't think it's a big gap, but I think it's a gap enough. And then I think the other guys kind of fall in right behind him.
Fournette, I'm taking Jacobs before Aaron Jones.
Listen, I
Only because of volume purposes. If they're going to do a committee, I mean, Williams came on strong last year in Green Bay
Right.
toward the
and
end
I
of
like
the season.
the unknown in Jacobs. Like
Right.
I know sometimes it's probably bad to draft that way, but you don't know what he's gonna be, his
Well,
potential, and you might
right.
want to get on that.
What-
while you
what was
can.
it, the last,
But
like-
third round? That's a little rich.
I think
for
there
me
was a
on
stat
Jacobs.
last like 6 or 7 years, a rookie running back has finished in the top 12
Yeah,
running
right.
back.
Well, that's,
So-
you got to draft the unknown.
And Jacobs is in the perfect spot. I mean, they brought in Antonio Brown and Tyrell Williams to stretch the field.
Right.
Jacobs
Yeah.
is there. I just think a third-round pick is too steep for me for Aaron Jones when there's big-name wide receivers around this range too.
To me, Aaron Jones is more of a end of the 4th, beginning of the 5th round draft pick, and it's not because now if for whatever reason we have to figure out what LaFleur is really going to do and how much feedback is he going to take from Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers wants one back. He wants one setback, and he likes Aaron Jones. The problem is, if LaFleur likes this dual back setup, who's the one that's going to win by the end of the year?
Right.
Well, Rodgers said that last year. He said, I want Aaron Jones on the field. But it was Williams that was on field most of the time.
Right,
And
and
then
that's my
McCarthy
concern.
gets fired.
That's my only concern with Aaron Jones. Right. That's my only concern is that LaFleur taking note. My only concern is Jamal Williams that is the only question mark, because I think Aaron Jones, if he gets the true volume as the RB1 in that backfield and there's no dual back setup, I think he is a top 15 back. It's just there's a lot of question marks. We have a new offensive coordinator. We have a new offensive-minded coach who has proven team after team that he likes the dual backfield. That's my concern with Aaron Jones. It's nothing on him. It's the factor. Yeah. It's all the factors around him.
Just you're spending your third-round pick on a guy that you don't know.
Right. Take him in the 5th round, and I think if he goes as a top 15 running back, then you got a value beyond belief.
What I think you need to watch with Aaron Jones in the offseason is the offensive coordinator wants to establish the running back in the passing game more.
Correct.
And right now it sounds like Aaron Jones and Rodgers are on their connection or
on the same page.
Compatibility right now is where you want it to be. That doesn't mean it's where it's going to be all year, all offseason. I'd monitor that because right now I agree with you. He's too high. But if that continues to progress in the positive way, where they're seeing the ball like out of the backfield,
if he takes the majority of the rushing and starts to be the passing guy, then he can come up. Yeah. But for me right now, 3rd round pick, no.
There's too many questions surrounding that
it's
Packers
crazy.
offense in the run game.
I wrote him off a couple weeks ago, and now I'm slowly just monitoring the situation because I think he could be a potential stud here, but again, he's got to have the volume to get there.
And that's what I put in the text group when I said that I've been bouncing up and down with the thought of whether he is going to be a running back worth having as an RB2 on your roster or not. And it's like the stock market. It's up, then it's down. It's up, then it's down. It's like, what do you do with him? Because there's no real reports coming out if Jamal Williams is struggling or if Aaron Jones is being BFS with Aaron Rodgers, like you said. There's no clear response. It's just we're waiting.
Or if Aaron Rodgers does what he did last year and change the plays in the huddle and start throwing all over the place like he normally does.
I mean, you're going to want one of the running backs if this offense blows up like it's known to. So,
all right. For me, the too low is Kenyan Drake with the Dolphins. Now he's being currently drafted as the running back 26, which is the 5th round, which is comfortably where I think Aaron Rodgers is more so, or not Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Jones is comfortable to be around, in my opinion, the 5th round-ish.
If I can get Aaron Rodgers at 5'10", I'm good.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, I like Drake a lot this year.
And I mean,
I do too.
And looking over our projections and stuff like that in the draft loadout, he is a RB15, which would put him at the end of the 3rd round in that PPR, full half PPR setup. But to me, he has a top 10 potential. That's the biggest thing is, and I looked at it, new coaching staff previously in New England, so that's a bump for him and Adam Gase leaving because he was not on Adam Gase's favorite list for whatever reason. Frank Gore has moved on to Buffalo. That's 156 carries that are now up for grabs.
So him and Balaj.
They did not bring anybody big name through the draft. So new offensive staff has had him study the James White film in New England is what they've asked him to do.
Perfect.
Right. And then they're more than likely going to be playing from behind because they're tanking for Tua. So I just think that Drake can be a all-purpose down back. He can do all 3 downs. He can be the rusher. He can be the pass catcher. And he did that in Alabama. In Alabama, he actually was the more of the dual threat, the more pass catching back in that backfield in that run with them. Derrick Henry was the bulk guy, the big heavy hitter, where Drake was more of the scat guy. So
I look at Drake this way. I'm probably not going to draft him because I think Fitzpatrick's going to win the quarterback job in week 1.
Yeah.
And then I think that's going to hurt Drake a little bit. I think I can get him cheap when Rosen's eventually going to take over, and we saw what he did with DJ, where he's dumping it down all the time.
Right.
And I think that's why they want him in the James White role. That's when he's going to flourish. You can get him in the tail half of the year when you're making your push for the Super Bowl championship.
Now let me say, would you draft Drake? Would you draft Drake in the end of the 5th, beginning of the 6th that he's currently at?
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying reach up and take him where we think he's going to potentially finish in that 3rd round ADP because he's going to be a top 15 back potential. I'm saying, would you draft him in the 5'10", 601?
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said I wouldn't draft him. I meant that's what I'm hoping to get him.
That's what I thought you meant.
I can even get him cheaper if he starts slow and trade for him.
So, and the thing is,
I love that ADP.
Right.
I do too.
And he finished as the running back 17 last year with 156 carries going to Frank Gore.
Yep.
So even if you only give him 50 more carries for the season, that puts him at 170 rushing attempts, and he had 535 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, 53 receptions. Here's the big thing: 477 receiving yards, 5 receiving touchdowns. So he was balanced. That's what you want in this backfield because they are going to suck offensively.
Well, the big thing for me is they're telling him he's studying James White tape. That tells me he's going to be involved heavily in the passing game, which for PPR, half PPR, we absolutely love.
Right. So I'm all in on Kenyan Drake at the 5 in the 5th round. I will gladly take him at that spot. So I won't be reaching and taking him in the 2nd or 3rd round. But if I see that he's not going to probably make it back to me in the 5th round, I think the highest I'm drafting him is the 4th round because I just think that based on, in our league, I don't think that Kenyan Drake will make it to the 5th round. I'm just going to tell you right now. If our other league mates are listening, I just have a feeling somebody's going to take him before he gets to the 5-10. Honestly, but that's just me.
If he gets anywhere in the 5th round and I'm there, he's on
I just don't think he's going to make it to the 5th round.
I'd love to give him the 5th round because then we're talking flex.
Right.
Exactly.
So, anyways, for me though, that's where I like him being in that 5th round. I think that's great. But I think the earliest I think I could take him in a 10-man league is 4th round. I think comfortably without feeling like I'm reaching too much because there's other guys, like you said, in the 3rd round, like when we talked about Aaron Jones. I think there's other guys that are more solid upside, like guaranteed.
Well, the receiver pool is really deep. We talked about this off air.
Yeah.
But you can get the 2nd-tier receivers that I would rather have than the 2nd-tier, 3rd-tier running backs.
Yeah. So, all right. And then for me, my too high is David Montgomery. Now, this is not a knock. It's not that I don't like David Montgomery, but for a 4th round pick, I think that's just too high right now, and the unknown in what we're going to be seeing in that Bears offense. Now, we have him projected in that RB2 spot, so he's in that top 25, but his ADP, which that would put him in the ADP right around where Tyreek Cohen is going right now, which is about that 7th, end of the 6th, beginning of the 7th round. I just think that with them taking a 3rd round draft pick, there's no Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard, even in a bad year last year, finished as the running back 20. So, and that was in half PPR. So I just think that even if he just slides right into the Jordan Howard previously taken role, you've got a top 25 back right there. But why are we drafting him in a 4th round for potential at this point? I just don't. I think he is more of a. I'd rather draft him in the 5th, 6th round and feel fine. I just think if you take him in the 4th round, there's other guys that I would take in the 4th round when I was looking at ADP purposes. There's other guys that I would take in the 4th round ahead of David Montgomery. But the biggest thing for me, Matt Nagy has praised Montgomery big time. Says his route running is great. Said his pass blocking is great, which is 2 key things which you didn't hear from Miles Sanders. Right. So, and they just know that he has great hands, as they said.
I don't listen to Nagy. He said last year Jordan Howard was going to be a
down back. That was what I was.
He was going to be our guy.
Yeah. That was what I was going to put in there as like the disclaimer.
It was the Tyreek Cohen show,
right?
At the running back spot.
No, but I do expect him by year's end to be the lead back overall for the Bears, and I do expect him to be the lead in carries overall for the Bears offense.
I think so too.
But I think he's going to have to compete and be successful to take any type of pass catching opportunities away from Tyreek Cohen because, as we all know, that is what Tyreek Cohen's bread and butter. That's what he does.
That's his role. Like James White, Tyreek Cohen, that's his role there.
So, and for the PPR, half PPR for the loadout points, there's a 20-point difference between Cohen and Montgomery, and I think that's what you're going to see. I think both of them are top 20 potential, honestly.
Right.
In the PPR, half PPR setup, I just think that's what we're looking at. Guys that are going to be very similar, close. I just think that what you got, Montgomery's going to be the lead back overall for touches, like rushes, and I think Tyreek Cohen's going to be the leader in the reception side, and I think that's what's going to put them so close together. But to me, at the current ADP, if I can get somebody a top 20 running back at the 7th round versus a guy who's going in the 4th round, that's the value. And then when we talk about values, Tyreek Cohen's going the 701, 702.
Absolutely.
David Montgomery's going 408. That's the red flag for me.
You're buying into the unknown.
Right. That's the thing.
All right. So here's the deal.
My concern.
Would you rather take Jacobs or Montgomery? They're going around the same.
Beginning of the year, I say Jacobs because I just think he's got a clear cut. He's going to see a ton of volume. But I think by end of the year, I don't be surprised if David Montgomery is not the lead rookie running back at the end of the year based on points.
Well, and actually, I was going to put it as I think Jacobs could end with more points, but I think Montgomery's going to be the back you're going to want by the end of the year.
I just think that
I think he's gonna have a slow start.
right. I think that's the concern. I think Montgomery is going to have
Jacobs is gonna win you ball games right out of the gate.
correct. So if I'm looking at their current ADP, I'm taking Josh Jacobs. But if I can get Montgomery to back down to like the 6th round, I will be perfectly happy to take him. But he's not. His ADP has steadily climbed round by round once a month.
It's almost like the Kerryon Johnson effect from last year. If you could get Kerryon later, that would have been a great value. Now again, he didn't pan out the way we thought he was going to be, but his ADP was high last year.
Right. They bought into it.
Yep.
Everybody bought into it, and everybody thought this is they drafted a pass catcher back. He can do it all, so on and so forth. So
speaking of another guy we haven't talked about, but Kerryon's ADP is slowly climbing.
yes, it's coming
I
back
don't know
up.
why.
It's resuscitating.
I know you're not a Lions fan over there.
No, I just
I just think that offense has got.
if your name's not Galladay or Marvin Jones, I don't want you.
Right.
True. So to me, I just think that Montgomery is about a round or so too high right now.
It's fun. I did a bunch of mocks, and I only got Montgomery in one because he fell to the 5th.
That's where I've been taking him when I took him.
Yep.
So I took him actually in the Scott Fish Bowl in the 5th round, and I felt great about that. And there's no real premium for running backs, and I felt good about that. And that's a super flex and all that. So I just don't like the fact that he's going in the 4th round.
Yeah, you're giving up too much if he doesn't pan out for that RB2 spot.
Right. We talk about the first 5 rounds in your draft are what you're setting yourself up for success.
Foundation.
That your 2 running backs or 2 wide receivers, your potential quarterback, depending on how you draft, or a solid tight end. I mean, there's just a lot of key positions to carry you throughout the season that if you take a bad pick and it blows up, then you're done, and then your season's over.
Well, you could essentially get your wide receiver, running backs, and flex spot all taken care of in that 5 rounds.
Yeah. I just have a lot of I think David Montgomery could be somebody who wins you fantasy championships at the end of the year. I just don't want to draft him as a 4th round pick. Yeah. That's my only problem.
So 501, okay?
I'm going to say mid-5.
I would say 504, 505 would be fine.
When I did that, it's 501 where I got
So you were at the turn, and you did. Who'd you take at the end of the 4th?
Wide receiver.
Okay.
I doubled down with the running back.
But you draft heavy running backs early, so you probably already had 2 running backs, and he was your 3rd.
So here's what I looked at you're right, but here's when I looked at it. I looked at the
3rd running back, glad to have him.
Rest of the pool, and I'm like, man, it's not that deep at running back.
Yeah.
Wide receiver, I saw a ton of value, so I'm like, I'm going to push a little bit. I'm going to go down. Listen, did I pass on the big names? Yeah, but I'll tell you what's still left in the wide receiver pool when you wait is Diggs and the Thielens and the Cooks and Cooper Kupp. Those guys are still all there.
Robert Woods, all those guys are all
Tyler Lockett.
No, they're
all sitting there.
They might not give you 30-point weeks every week, but they're going to give you steady numbers, and then your 2 big backs can come in and do the workload.
Yep.
At least that's how I draft.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I mean,
Now watch me totally change when
We go to the
I
draft.
double dip on wide receivers.
Right.
And
if Cooper Kupp's sitting there in the 4th, welcome to the team, buddy.
Right, sign me up. All right, who's your too low?
My too low is, we've been talking about him, Devonta Freeman.
Okay.
I just think we're too far removed from last year. He was hurt. I get it. But in 15 and 16, he was a 1,000-yard rusher, 400 or 500 yards receiving, and he was double-digit touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
People forget very
Yeah.
quickly.
Well, then-
Fantasy football, you have to clear your mind, you clear your catch, and you.
Well, everybody says
your
he's
history,
injury
you're
prone,
out.
but he's really not. He was just hurt last year.
Yeah. Well, Steve Sarkisian came in 2017, and yes, it was a slow process getting Freeman back in, but still he finished with 1,300 all-purpose yards and 8 touchdowns. I'm pretty sure I'd take that at my RB2 spot.
Sure.
His numbers were steady all year. Listen, nothing. There was some big numbers, but there wasn't too many low numbers.
Right.
That's what you're really looking for out of your RB2 anyways. But I think the number that stood out to me, and we were just talking about before the show start, was I thought Coleman was the pass-catching back. That was his role in the offense. Devonta Freeman out-targeted him every year, and it wasn't even close. So in 2018, Coleman had his most targets at 44.
He just had bigger plays.
Well, Freeman's lowest targeted year in 2017 was 47. He had 97 targets one year and 65. He is utilizing this offense. He's just got to get healthy.
Well,
So I think right now you're getting him at a steal at the 4th round, RB17. I've got him statted out as RB14.
He's somebody that people are going to sleep on enough that
as soon as they hear a name, they go, "Oh, he's injured. He's injury prone."
I mean, when I've looked at it and I've talked in different chats and stuff like that, and people on even on Sleeper, people are dogging Devonta Freeman. They're like, "Why would you take him? He's injury prone." And I'm like, "That's
he's
fine.
not.
Whatever league you're in, I will gladly take him as my 2nd running back, and I will just as
I would
the
love
Tyreek
it.
Hill piece. I'm out. Championships. Here we go."
I want to piggyback off your thought about injury prone. So my too high as Fournette. He's been taken one spot ahead of Foreman at the 16, and he's 307. Talk about injury-prone / suspension guy.
Yeah.
He's only played 13 games. That's the most in 1 year. So you're taking Fournette ahead of Freeman right now.
See, I wouldn't do that, but for all the naysayers on Fournette, I don't mind Fournette on my team. However, I'm not drafting him as my 1 or 2. I will draft him as my 3rd running back and flex him because the thing is, Fournette, if he plays above, I looked at the stat, above 13 games, if he plays more than 13 games in a season, he is a stud in fantasy football.
Yes.
The problem is he did have the suspension last year. He did deal with knee issues, or ankle issues, which he has since college. So that's the thing. You drafted him your rookie year, had no problem with those injuries coming out of college. It's because he had one in the NFL now that you're like, oh, whoa.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of people are pumping the brakes. No, thank you.
It's the second time, third time he's been injured. He gets that tag. He's
Right.
injury prone.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, to me, him and Gurley in the same offense. I'm not saying within their current offense. I'm saying you put him and Gurley in the same offense, or you put Fournette in that Rams offense, I think that immediately takes Fournette and puts him in that top 6 running back draft-wise. It's because the offense around him is questionable. There's a lot of question marks, and he has a question mark attached to him. He has top 10 running back potential. It's just you're not drafting him like that.
Well, I don't even know if the organization's behind him anymore.
No.
This is also true.
They took all the stuff out of his contract, all the guaranteed stuff.
Maybe to motivate him. I don't know.
I think he's a risk, and I think he could be worth it if you could get him later in the
Right.
draft. I mean, I have him as RB20.
Right.
That's probably maybe a little too low for him.
No, I think he's a top 20 running back. It's just there's just a lot of question marks around
Melvin
that.
Gordon to the Jags.
I mean,
There
put
you
it this
go.
way.
Carlos Hyde to the no, wait, that already happened.
We just talked about it. I mean, I'd want Aaron Jones, Marlon Mack,
Yeah.
and Devonta Freeman over him.
Over Fournette?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Especially
I would say
Freeman.
2 of the 3. The Aaron Jones is the question mark.
Yeah, I wouldn't want Aaron.
How about
I
this?
think they're
I'm
not even, actually,
I
because Aaron Jones might be on a better offense, but there's a lot of question marks as to will he see the volume. I think Fournette will see the volume. It's the question mark of the offense.
Well, I think the quarterback change is going to help Fournette this year. I like Nick Foles better
Yes,
than Blake.
But
do-
there's
I do
nobody
too.
in the offensive passing game that's a threat.
They got Westbrook. They got, what was that dude last year who had the one highlight play where he caught it with one hand?
Oh my gosh.
Everybody thought he was going to blow up,
Yes.
and
I know who you're talking
Oh
about.
my gosh, it's slipping.
big
slipping.
guy. He's a big dude.
Yeah, anyways,
It's gonna come to me. No, I'm actually pump the brakes a little bit on Marlon Mack here. He doesn't catch the ball as much as everyone thinks. His targets aren't there. Hines has
yep.
a lot in that game. They're not going to run the ball as much as you think they're going to. I think it's going to be a highly passing offense. I'm actually fading Mack more, and Jones is starting to come up if he's in that passing game more.
See,
Those are the guys I'm flirting with back and forth.
Yeah, I understand, and that's the thing. It all comes down to your comfort level and your preference. I look at running backs who have. If you are on a bad offense, I want you to have tons of opportunity and volume.
True.
If you are on a good offense, I can deal with moderate to medium amounts of volume and opportunity because your offense is going to put points on the board. Like Aaron Jones, if he even sees 50-50 split, he's still a top 20 back.
Right.
It's just the ceiling for him is capped if he is a 50-50 back because they don't even run the ball very often. They throw the ball more. It's not like the Saints offense where they run the ball a bunch because they're saving Drew Brees' arm. That's the thing. The Saints offense, 50-50 split, worked for two top 10 running backs because they ran the ball a lot. Aaron Rodgers does not like to hand the ball off.
Yeah.
He likes to throw it.
But LaFleur likes to run it.
Real quick, maybe this is why you want to double dip your first 2 picks at running back because you don't want to get caught up in this mess.
Right.
You want one solid back. I'm just saying if you can draft in your first round a solid back, whether that's
Not Melvin Gordon.
I'm just saying one of the solid backs in that first round, if you can take one, then you can flirt with a wide receiver in the second round, and then you can come back to this giant jumble of running back tier and then just flip a coin and say, okay, I'm going to take this guy. I just think that if you go to wide receiver, and then you're sitting in the third round looking for one of these guys, your first pick,
You're setting
Freeman's
yourself up
about
for
the only
failure.
one that I feel like I can comfortably say he'd be my RB1 on my team, okay. But outside of that,
And I
there's
think
just
he'll
so
be
many
there. I
other
think
guys
he'll-
question marks.
I think that Freeman will fade, because of the injury concern.
Marlon Mack, I couldn't put him as my RB1.
No.
I don't think I can put Fournette as my RB1.
No.
Aaron Jones, no.
So you're looking at Aaron Jones, Jacobs, Henry, and Ingram.
Those are a lot of guys that I could say
Drake.
are my RB2,
Right.
but not my RB1. But that's just me.
Yeah.
All right, the
No.
top 4 wide receivers for Jacksonville. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
Marquise Lee, D.D. Westbrook, Keelan Cole,
Keelan
who
Cole,
it
that's
is.
what I was
and
thinking.
Terrell Pryor.
Okay. Who was the first one? You said Marquise Lee. He's coming off that gruesome injury we saw last year in preseason, so
Yes.
he may or may not be 100% ready
D.D.
to
Westbrook.
go. D.D. Westbrook is probably going to be your number one wide receiver on that offense.
Terrell Pryor, Keelan Cole, DJ Chark, and Chris Conley.
Conley might not be a bad one. He came from Kansas City. He actually was somewhat successful in that offense. He just was buried on the depth chart behind a bunch of highly wide receiver and pass catching guys. So
I like Westbrook though.
I like to those. None of those guys really stand out big name wise, but they are all good wide receivers. And with Foles there, I think that the passing offense is already better than what we've seen with Bortles.
right, I think that's going to be the passing game being a threat. Whoever the wide receivers are is a good thing for Fournette. It's
Absolutely.
just the questions about Fournette's durability would be there. You go. Durability would be the word that I'd be looking for. Now, would I be happy to take Fournette as my RB2? Yes, but I would still be. I'd have to go pick up a third running back to feel like, hey, the flip flop him between RB2 and flex.
You want to
but
give up that third round capital.
no,
That's what
that was
where
what I was
I'm
going
at.
to say. That was my next point was going to be, but I can't
At
draft
the
him
end
in
of
that
the
third
third,
round.
I would.
I would say at the
He's
turn.
going 307.
At the turn, I could take Fournette going into fourth round because then I could take another running back in the fourth.
Yeah, if you could.
But I don't think I could take him mid to early third round.
I mean,
This was crazy.
If you didn't think he was going to come back to you, I would in the third.
Fournette
307.
with Freeman's 401.
I would take Freeman ahead of Fournette.
right.
Well, okay. So I guess that's the only. Then there's Mack and Jones. They're all sitting there at the same spot.
I'm taking Fournette over Mack and Jones. Sorry.
No, that
It's
all,
just
all
preference. I know. Yeah.
I mean, the ceiling for Fournette is much higher than Mack and
Yes,
Jones.
I agree
than
completely.
What Fournette's ceiling is a top 10 running back if he plays and he gets the volume that he should get and he stays healthy. The problem is the durability is the issue.
Yeah.
If he plays 13 or more games, he's a top 10 back. Can he stay on the field health wise and can he keep between what's going on between his ears straight and not punching people with helmets in Buffalo.
That was funny.
So,
That
just
was
saying,
funny.
the Bills Mafia is well known for putting themselves through tables. What do you think they're going to do if you attack one of their players? Just saying.
So real quick, now we're on the running backs, and we
Yes.
heard this Melvin Gordon news. Who's the number 5 then?
David Johnson.
Gosh,
Number 5 overall pick or 5 running back?
five
Number
running
fifth
back,
running
not
back.
overall. I'm kind of leaning DJ too.
I don't know why, but Le'Veon Bell is like right in my head.
Le'Veon Bell's like 107 is the seventh running back.
Connor's up there too.
Yeah,
Connor's the
Connor's
eighth.
really rising for me.
Mixon's right around that 9-10 spot. I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys.
I'm actually fading Bell. That's weird.
Really?
Bell,
Only- I just it's the Jets thing. That's it right now.
I just think
it
he's gonna. I
changes.
think he's gonna get a ton of. I know he's gonna be the lead rusher.
I think
but
he
I think
walks
he's gonna
into
get
a
a lot of
Saquon type
volume.
role.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be
where the pass catching
the
is
product
what's
of
going
a
to
lot of
carry him.
checkdowns.
and that'd be it. If
Right.
that's his role, and then yeah, I'm all
So
about
I think
it.
if this whole situation lingers and Gordon now gets pushed to the behind some of these guys, I think it moves DJ to 5,
Sure.
Bell to 6, and then I think you got Connor at 7.
I like Connor.
I do too.
I just think Connor's going to see enough volume overall, but I think Bell's weight in gold is that pass catching and that Saquon-esque type offense because I just think the Jets offense is going to be struggling again this year, and we saw that if he's great at pass catching, it's just they're going to be from behind. Let's be honest.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to know how much of a product of the Pittsburgh offense was Le'Veon.
We will find out week
So-
1.
Well, we've
will
seen
find-
Samuels, Connor both have
yeah,
success.
they did.
But I mean,
So I don't know.
Just-
That's what I'm saying. I go back and forth. Now again, I still think Bell is a top back.
Oh yeah.
Let's not get that right.
I would take DJ and Connor ahead of Bell.
We're on the same page.
But Bell's still right. He's
Yeah.
yeah,
he's
We're-
right there.
I literally keep going back and forth interchanging Bell and Connor. I just feel like it's just
But see,
what day
but-
I'm on, what day I'm
But here's the kicker:
drafting.
if we get to the 5th overall pick, usually those 4 running backs are going to go
Yeah.
first. I'm taking Hopkins over all
Oh,
those
yeah.
running
well,
backs.
and
That's the speed bump between the next set of running backs in that first
that's
round.
what I said when I don't double dip on running backs is because I'm at the 5 or 6 spot because I don't know what I want to do.
Right. Well, I will tell you, I'm in the 5 spot in that Scott Fishbowl, and I got Hopkins as my 5th pick because all 4 running backs went early, and I was like, I feel like Hopkins and maybe Adams are speed bumps at 105, 106, and then you have
same page.
the running backs next coming in, and that's DJ, that's Gordon, that's Bell, that's Mixon, that's Connor, all those guys, and then you wrap back around, and then you got all those
Michael
top
Thomas,
tier
Julio.
guys in those second round wide receivers, Julio, Michael Thomas,
Thielen.
Diggs, all those guys are rolling through. So I just feel like if you get the 105, 106, and all 4 of those running backs are gone, you're probably going to have to take a wide receiver and just be good with it.
If you double up on receivers,
I mean, if
pray to
Gordon,
God those running backs will start flying off the board.
if Gordon,
I had to do that
Hey.
in this Scott Fishbowl. I got Hilton and I got Hopkins were my 2 wide receivers, 1 and 2, and then I came back in the third and got, I forget who it was now, but I ended up taking a third running back in the third round, and it was the worst feeling that I've had to do in a long time.
I bet.
Lamar Miller.
No, it wasn't that bad. No, it was Kenyan Drake actually the third round, and
not terrible.
and then I had Mack in the was it Marlon Mack? No, yeah, Marlon Mack in the 4th. David
Yeah.
Montgomery. 5th was
There you go.
Goff.
There you go.
Goff was the 5th, but now mind you, it is a super flex,
Right.
2 QBs. So
yeah.
Goff was my first quarterback, best one because Mahomes went like in the 2nd round in this super flex, which I was surprised he waited that long.
How quickly did Kyler Murray come off the board too?
Kyler Murray went before a lot of the established quarterbacks.
Dude, there's a
did.
lot of hype for him right now.
Yeah, I saw. I don't know.
Trash.
Did you guys see the tweet that I texted
Yeah.
you guys about that?
Oh,
This
yeah,
guy
yep,
was.
yep.
I'm not gonna put the name out there, but there was a guy, and he put it out there that he said by end of the year. Now he didn't put any specifics like if Mahomes is hurt or whatever. He just said clear cut. He has projected out Kyler Murray ahead of Patrick Mahomes fantasy points for the year. That's your choice. I just was. I had to look at the tweet twice. I was like, what?
Well, if he's a 1,000-yard rusher, maybe.
Well,
he'll get
yeah,
there.
if he's like exactly
He's not going to be.
Well, that I know, but that's his value. His value is going to be what he gets
in the run
with
game.
his legs. Yeah,
So
because at 1 point
He's going to get blasted and get hurt. RG3 style.
he could.
good.
Talking.
Listen, I'm not drafting him early. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah.
my stock watch, I had him too high. So
Yeah. All right. So before we end the show, we want to tell you guys we do have 2 new members to the Fantasy Listener League. We want to give them a shout out today. The first one is Michael Clausing.
pow.
Welcome to the Fantasy League. They've already got their invites. They're already in. We just wanted to announce their name on the show so that everybody knows that they're the next 2. And then next week we'll do 2 more names announcement-wise. So, and then the second one is Ryan Sheedy. He is the second of the winners, I guess.
Pow, pow.
Yes.
So, shout out to Michael and Ryan.
We didn't
Welcome.
even rehearse that.
No, we didn't.
What do you think about that?
That's on the fly. So that's all we got for today. We want to tell you guys thanks for tuning in, whether it's the podcast side or on YouTube or on DATV. And if you're on the podcast YouTube side, go ahead and hit that subscribe and notify so that way you get notified every time the new shows drop.
Yeah, smash that like button.
Yes, we
Blow up that
appreciate
comment
those.
section.
We've actually had a couple comments the last couple weeks, which we appreciate. They're just random,
Hey,
which I appreciate because it always makes fun to answer.
Any
so-
feedback
Yeah.
we like.
Right.
Pull up
Negative,
it.
positive, whatever.
Right. You can find our articles now that they're kind of starting to, they've been rolling out, thehateful8ff.com. Also, like I said, I've got working with Lance behind the closed doors is figuring out what kind of apparel we're going to drop out for the summertime. I know tank tops are one of them. The idea is one of it. And then koozies is another one we're going to be rolling out. Coffee mugs, things of that nature. So,
the My Guys article that just dropped.
yeah,
Is that only in the loadout?
it is.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It
You got to check
is.
that out. I really enjoyed that.
Yes. So,
I apologize. I knew off the top of my head earlier.
it was Jeremy and Danny
Together.
tag teamed it.
It was.
So,
It was good.
do you have another honorable mention?
No, it's about Melvin Gordon. It
Oh.
says the Chargers running back unwilling to take any offer that doesn't put him near the salaries of Gurley and Bell.
Okay. That LA trade ain't gonna happen.
Jeez. Well,
Yeah, if he gets traded, he better go to a team with some cap
Oh
space.
my gosh, we're gonna get the Le'Veon Bell saga part 2.
right.
That's what it's looking like.
So,
Oh, we had Bell watch. we'll
Trade
have
him to the
Gordon watch.
Texans. Texans got cap space. They'll send Lamar Miller in the
you
mid-round
go.
pick
We
back.
tried sending Bell to the
didn't
Texans.
work.
during it.
Texans should have gotten Bell.
they should have. And then before we sign off officially, the podcast awards at podcastawards.com. We are nominated in that again this year. We are in the People's Choice Awards as well as the ESPN Sports category. So it's free to sign up. Make sure when you do sign up, you click the little box and it says you would like to be considered as a voter. And then you sign up for free, and then you click and put us in the People's Choice as well as the sports category. Hit submit, vote for us. We appreciate it.
It's that easy, guys. Come on.
Absolutely.
I mean, if I can teach my parents to do how to use an iPhone, we can teach anybody.
You can dodge traffic. You can dodge a ball.
So
You can even get on them laptops that are so old.
there's some
and do that.
laptops and PCs. Come on, guys. Anyways, all right, you can follow me on Twitter at jpickle8ff.
I am Groot.
I am Groot. And you can follow Blackburn at jblackburn8ff.
You should do that.
You should. And you can follow Trimboli at ftrimth8ff.
I am Frank.
I am Frank. Anyways, so the big thing. Oh, I do want to put out there one last thing.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Unfortunately, due to the recent tornadoes in the Dayton area, the draft party that we were going to have set up at Scene 75 did not pan out. Unfortunately, they are doing construction. They are unavailable, and they are out of commission until December. Worked with the Draft Party USA guys, and we tried to collaborate, tried to find something to kind of switch it over, but it was going to increase pricing, and we didn't want to do that to you guys who had signed up and people who were potentially thinking of signing up. So we are going to push it out to 2020. So unfortunately for the 2019 Draft Party USA setup that we had, it's not going to happen. We're bummed, but we understand. Scene 75, I mean, they were initially thought they would be back in July, August, but with the amount of damage that they found, once they kind of uncovered some things, they realized it was just better to go ahead and do all that, plus the renovations that they were wanting to do at the end of the year anyways. So we wanted to let you guys know. So it has been taken down, and if you have any questions or concerns, you can message over at Draft Party USA's website, and they will get back to you guys and give you any type of clarity or any information you might need.
And did you say reimbursements are going back?
Yeah,
right?
he is taking care of all that. Draft Party USA said that they're taking care of all that, and we're working on something for next year's promotion and everything else already. So,
Well, next year, Blackburn will have to eat your pizza.
right. So,
I'm doing that anyway.
all right. You guys got anything else?
No.
All right. You got anything?
Nah.
All right. We appreciate you guys tuning in today, and we will see you guys next week.